Coffee's nearly ready. I'm here, and that's really all we need for a show. Me and some coffee. And hopefully you. It's nice when you're here. Alright, here we go. Coffee's drained through. I'm ready to go. Let's do this. In 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today is Monday. It is March 8th, 2021. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. I feel like this is being jittery. Yeah, it's dropping frames. What's going on? What's going on, YouTube? Are you really doing that? Maybe. Hopefully it's coming through in better quality on your end. If it's not, I'm sorry, and I'm not sure what to chalk that up to. Probably Comcast, because they're the worst. Well, I hope you had a great weekend. I had a pretty solid weekend. I'm not going to call it a great weekend. I will call it a good weekend, though. Not a typical weekend. Worked out Friday night, worked out Saturday night. Did I work out Friday night? I don't remember if I did. Good morning, Stacy. I know I did Saturday night. Celebrated Mom's birthday with the family on Saturday. We had pizza and cake. So I went to the gym because I hate a lot of pizza and cake, which was great. I'm not the type of person who's going to punish myself. Good morning, Emmett. After eating tasty food. But I am going to be that much more likely to work out. And yesterday I was sore. I'm still a little bit sore. I pushed it on Saturday, which was nice. I don't usually do that. And so I took yesterday off and did a bunch of work around the house and cleaned things up and meal prepped. I got a ton of rice ready to go. I got bread. Second loaf of bread. I experimented. It did not go as well as the first loaf of bread. Buttermilk is not a reasonable substitution for regular milk, as I have discovered. It's still edible. It's still going to taste good. It's just super dense. Like, it pretty much fell by about half. The yeast did not seem to like that environment as much. Who knew? Oh, there's a fly. Go away, fly. What else did I do? I made Thai peanut sauce. Stacy says, way too heavy. Yeah, it was too heavy. Emmett says, I had an interesting weekend myself, including discovering my grandfather was once arrested for jiving. He was leading a mass crowd in the procession. Wow. It's crazy. Who knew? I have no idea if my grandparents were arrested for anything. And they're all gone. Oh. Played some video games, cleaned the house, did a bunch of laundry. I did a bunch of work yesterday. The new website for selling the programs, it's ready. I just need Facebook to approve the ad. And the funny thing is they rejected it the first time, but it was an ad that had run for months. Come on, guys, smarten up. They rejected it because of false claims. Because apparently making the claim that martial arts can get you into good shape is an exaggerated claim in their mind, obviously being evaluated by someone who knows nothing about martial arts or what happens in martial arts classes. So I got to fight with that. Might have to re-record the video, which is going to piss me off. Anything else happened? A little bit of client work. Hung out. Today, it's supposed to be warming up. Hoping to get out and tap the maple trees. I had an amazing massage on Friday. That was probably a highlight of the day. Highlight of the weekend, to be honest. I've got I don't know what you'd call my appointment with Irvin. He's an occupational therapist and a structural integrator. And the work he does on me doesn't tend to be, it's not OT, it's structural integration. Which is kind of massage, but not really. Stacy says, it's 3 degrees, it has to warm up. Last I knew it was supposed to. We were supposed to have some good warm weather this week, so I'm excited to get the trees tapped. See what I can do. Making my own syrup. Bought some more seeds this weekend. Trying to get the full list. It's hard. And a lot of the good organic seeds that I was trying to buy, I'm buying the cheap ones now because that's all I can find. Man. Oh well. What else happening today? I'll probably go to the gym. Probably eat some rice because I cooked 8 cups of it. 4 cups of it. It's a lot of rice. It's pretty much what the Instant Pot's really good at, is making rice. Everything else is just like, eh. If I ate meat beyond fish, it'd probably be fine, but I don't think there's much else. What else is there to talk about? Oh yeah, I've got a whole day of work ahead of me, and it's Monday, and so there's an episode out. Hopefully it's out by now. Let's see, because I want to talk about this one. It hopefully will come out before the end of the show. It's a good one. It's an important one, a fancy one, a long one, powerful one. Some of those adjectives apply. Yeah. I got like 3 or 4 client calls. Having a chat with Jenny about the books that we do and what books are coming next and what books we can roll out with transcripts, all that stuff. So I don't think I have anything else to report. If anybody else has anything to report, I want to hear it. Otherwise, I'm going to see what we have to respond to here. There's a burp. That's why I'm looking down. There's a burp coming. I can feel it. Oh, and I shaved. Finally. I think I shaved like a week ago. Shaving bores me. Anybody else? Grooming. Me. I'm quickly running through the rest of my weekend to see if there's anything else worth sharing. Because I feel like there was, but I'm not finding it. Once in a while when I'll be out doing something, I'm like, oh, I gotta remember this, tell everybody in first cup. Nothing in there. No, nothing lodged in there. So, all right, let's turn to here. And if you happen to be new, or you lost your ability to speak, if you lost your mind and you forgot how to get in here, you just tell me something by leaving it in the comments when the show closes. After the show closes, you say, hey, Jeremy, what about this? Or you leave me a quote or a story or something. What is your view on training in multiple martial arts and picking aspects of each to create your own unique system? That is too long to go into here. We do have an episode of Martial Arts Radio that I believe is titled Diversity versus Mastery that you might want to check out. We have one on creating your own style. We may or may not. I don't know if Andrew's going to watch this one, but maybe that's something that we can tackle in a Thursday episode. But the short of it is, we all have our own style anyway. Do you not already know techniques that you don't use very often? Yeah. We use the stuff that fits us best. And we approach our training in a slightly different way most of the time than other people. We have our own style. Our own individual views. Oh, pardon. I don't care if you're looking at martial arts or religion or musical taste. There's always some individualism in there. And that's not a bad thing. In fact, I'd say it's a good thing. It's what allows us to improve and have perspective and interesting conversation. If your martial arts personal style was exactly the same as somebody else's, you're probably not going to have much fun sparring them or get much out of training with them. you're only going to be able to advance as far as your own knowledge. I did an episode called Why Everybody Needs a Teacher, and that follows up on that one. All right, so today we got stuff from Stacy and Frank. Thank you to both of you. And I'm going to start with Stacy. We need women who are so strong they can be gentle, so educated they can be humble, so fierce they can be compassionate, so passionate they can be rational, and so disciplined they can be free. Kavita Ramdas. I think you could swap out, not that it's not a powerful quote as is, because it is, and it's Women's Month. We could swap out the word women and talk about martial artists. We need martial artists who are so strong they can be gentle, right? Kind of similar. And I think this is why I love seeing women step into martial arts. While there are exceptions, overall participation in martial arts is more frequent among men than women. I don't know if there's as much of a disparity in children between boys and girls, but in adults, certainly, there are more men than women training. But from what I've seen, when a woman steps into martial arts and says, when that light bulb goes off or on, it can become a revolutionary thing for them. Completely change who they are in a wonderful, wonderful way. And so I wish more women trained. I do. That's a good one. I don't know. Stacy says, I'm blessed that the school I train at actually has more women than men. That's awesome. Emmett was following up on what I said. These are the big questions. Personally, I think you're creating your own style from day one, making things adapt to your own body and your own liking. Absolutely. A strong woman stands up for herself. A stronger woman stands up for everyone. Yes. Absolutely. I appreciate strong women. I find I'm drawn to strong women. My mother is a strong woman. Most of the women I've dated have been strong women. Yeah. Don't have to convince me. And we got some quotes from Frank from Golda Meir. Don't become cynical. Don't give up hope. Don't believe that everything is judged only by expediency. There is idealism in this world. There is human brotherhood. That can be really hard, right? Don't give up hope. Don't become cynical. Don't believe that everything is judged only by expediency. It's a challenge. But the loudest voices are not always the most relevant or authoritative. We have a tendency to dwell on criticism, on negativity. And I've come to learn that there's actually something hardwired in us to respond to that. Because if we go far, far back, that criticism, that alarm, that negativity, that wasn't popping up because of what was going on social media. It was, hey, there's a wolf that's going to eat you, right? It was bringing up the alarm in the tribe, in the pack, whatever, would have been a life or death thing. And so we respond. We respond with some immediacy. We respond with some giving some weight to those statements. Well, we haven't evolved beyond them, but it's other stimuli hijacking those systems in the body. We have to learn how to tune them out. We have to. One of the best things I've done to get better at that is posting things on YouTube. As silly as that sounds. So those of you who've been watching for a while know I went through some disasters with my previous car. 18 months of nightmares. And I spent a good 6 to 12 months posting YouTube videos about various things that were going wrong with the car. I caught a lot of hate. In fact, the first video I made, the one that has, I think it's like the third or fourth most views, has more thumbs downs than thumbs up. And dozens of people saying, you did. And early on, that was difficult. I'd feel something rather visceral. This experience of, people don't like me, they don't believe me, they don't agree with me. I had to get past that. Okay, you don't have to. You're not driving my car. You don't own my car. I don't care if you like this video. So I just put out more and more and more. And none of them did as poorly as that one in terms of, the ratio of thumbs ups to thumbs downs. But we get thumbs down on whistlekick videos sometimes. People will come along and they don't like the guest. So they give the thing a thumbs down. Okay. That's fine. Go for it. Now, I'm not saying I'm immune, but I'm better than I was. Next. Oh, Stacy wrote something. Some of us typically have quieter voices, but if consistent and with good messages, people will lean in for the message. You don't always... Let me say it a different way. If you have something worth hearing that is of value to others, it is not up to you in most cases to convince them to listen. I don't follow people around and beat them over the head and say, hey, I've got advice. I have found that a surprising number of people have no interest in my advice on things that they would fully acknowledge I know stuff about. Okay, that's fine. Doesn't bother me. It's your life. Saves me time. Emmett says, women are better at martial arts than men. I think that's too broad a statement. However, when I think of various aspects of martial arts, I think that one can make some gender-based generalities. I have found that men are easier to teach self-defense to. I have found that women are better at forms, at high-level forms, everything else being equal. Those are the only two places I see it. Women don't tend to come into martial arts with as much ego. They don't tend to come in with as much to prove, so they actually seem to learn a little bit faster. Not being beautiful was the true blessing. Not being beautiful forced me to develop my inner resources. The pretty girl has a handicap to overcome. I was kind of having this conversation with someone about me. Last week, we were talking about the fact that I'm single. I've been single now for 4 years. 4 years I've been single. I've dated. I've met people that I wanted to take things further with, but it hasn't worked out. But the challenge of the current state of the world, I'm not a terribly photogenic person. I'm not. I admit that. I know that. This show would probably do better if I was, some traditionally handsome, chiseled jawline sort of a man. But I'm not. It's not going to change. But when I think back to the boys and girls in school who were more attractive, most of them are doing nothing. Most of them have very, to me, boring lives where they're not doing much. Now that's fine if that's what they want, but they didn't have to develop personalities, many of them. They didn't have to find how to interact with others because people always wanted to be around them. And now that they are older, less attractive, and still don't have personalities, they're not doing so well. Going back to women in martial arts, Emmett says, technically they learn and apply technical aspects better. They remove brute strength and concentrate on technique. Yes, I will agree with that. Daniel is joining us. Good morning. It's my day off. I'm late. I came into a strange part of the conversation, but totally relate, except it was my bullies. Yeah. We're talking about a Golda Meir quote where she's identifying that not being physically beautiful was an asset for her. Yeah. So what do? I work on the parts of myself that I can. I can't, I'm not going to get plastic surgery or wave a wand or anything like that. But I try to stay in shape and I try to be a good person. Hey, there goes the garbage truck. Remember when I used to try to put the garbage out after the show? Was anybody here the day that the garbage truck came while I was on the show and I had to stop the show to go put it out? Man. All right, next quote. It is always much easier, I have discovered, to make people cry or gasp than to make them think. I would agree. I don't spend much time on trying to make people cry or gasp. I really like making people think. I think it's important. Once we get out of school, wherever that line is for you, for most people, they have no interest in learning, which is really a shame. And we are, I think, in the next, it could be as soon as 10 years, but definitely 20, we're about to go through a major revolution in the way education is handled. You're going to see a large chunk of post-secondary schools close. Colleges, universities, we've already seen a lot of them close, but we're going to see a lot of them close. And then you're going to see a lot of people, and I've talked about this publicly, and as martial artists, it creates an opportunity, so I'll reiterate it. You're going to see a lot of parents who say, if my kid's not going to college, because they can learn whatever they want in any one of these variety of online ways or internships or apprenticeships, why am I subjecting them to this substandard high school education? Not everyone, but a chunk. And we start to look at what those online opportunities for kids are. The opportunity for martial artists comes in as, hey, for unschool, homeschool, new versions of private school. There's a physical component, and martial arts checks that as well as many, many other things. Don't be afraid about teaching classes during the day. Okay. And I feel like I lost track of the quote, so let me pull back in here. I was talking about making people think. I believe that if we did not beat people over the head with educational material that did not resonate for them and that seemed so disconnected from the world, that more people would find value in education. Reading The Great Gatsby isn't going to connect for a lot of high school age kids. Reading Shakespeare is not going to do anything. Algebra, geometry. But what about that kid that doesn't take to math, but likes to build stuff? You got to use math. Not complex math, but if they can start to see where math is useful, they may be far more willing to learn math. And I think that this is where education has to go. I think it has to go back towards projects and the understanding of how to actually do things. My vision, if I had my magic wand and was suddenly put in charge of education, kids would graduate high school with a basic understanding of how to do all the things that they need to do throughout life. They need a basic understanding of trades, plumbing, carpentry, electrical. They need to understand basic finance, savings, investment, bookkeeping. They need to understand nutrition, health and fitness. They need to understand how to write a resume, interview for a job, rent an apartment, avoid getting taken advantage of. They need to understand interpersonal relationships, communication, all of these things that most people figure out either accidentally or never. How much better would the world be if that's what we taught kids? But we never will. And this is a beautiful one to end on. Before I read it, let me remind you, if you want to support the show, you can buy something at whistlekick.com. Use the code FIRSTCUP15. Reminder, I am raising the prices on training programs today. So if you have interest in our strength and conditioning program, our speed development program, our fight conditioning program, you should probably stop watching this right now and go over and check those out. Use the code FIRSTCUP15, 15% off. We've also got a ton of other stuff over there you can check out. We've got stuff in the store. If you're new, you should hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, because we do this show every weekday, 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. And you can catch it later in audio form as a podcast. And has that episode gone up yet? Let's see. Is it up? Is it up? Okay. I'm going to show you something. And then I'm going to come back to the quote. We're going to finish with the quote. Okay. Can you see the time? It's blurry. No, I can't get that close. Okay. Today's episode is with Hanshi Patrick McCarthy. You may know this name. If you don't, you will know this name soon. This is a powerful episode and the longest episode we have ever done. 3 hours and 43 minutes. It's great stuff. So go check that out. And then let me go back to my quotes. And this is where I'm going to leave it for you today. I'll see you tomorrow. You can't improve on saying nothing. You can't improve on saying nothing.